Welcome to Model Steam Engines and Boilers. This one is episode 25. A compilation video using edited extracts from my series How to Build a Model Steam Engine. This series is for my Patreon supporters only. This is just an edited extract. There's a lot more information on the full-length video. If you'd like to watch the full series and other ones about making interesting things, please become a Patreon supporter. This episode shows how I machine the crank web. It's not as easy as it looks. This component needs to be accurately machined with both of the holes in it completely parallel. The first thing to do, as always, is clean up the casting. And this one had quite a big lump on the end of it, which I took off with the bandsaw, and now I'm using the 1-inch belt sander just to clean up the part. This crank web casting may look like a very simple component to machine, and indeed it is, but it's not that easy to get it 100% accurate. The main point is the hole down the centre that takes the crankshaft has to be perfectly in line with the hole that will take the crank pin. I'm starting off the process by fitting the cleaned up casting in my 3-jaw chuck, and what I'm currently doing is using a square to make sure that the front face of it is square. Because of the shape of the component, a lot of the cutting is going to be intermittent, so take gentle cuts. Do not advance the tool fast at all, otherwise something nasty may happen. Either the component will break or it could jump out of the chuck. Either way, this spells disaster. If you take your time with this and keep the cuts light, then everything will be fine. At this stage of the operation, it's quite important to decide how much material you're going to remove from each side of this part to make it look like it does on the drawing. If you don't take enough metal off this side, the crank web will look large and ungainly, and if you take too much off, then the crank web is going to be weak. So constantly have a look at the drawing. If I stop the lathe for a moment, you can see that the crank web looks to be about right. So I think I'll leave it at that. The next step is to use a centre drill in the tailstock chuck and drill a deep centre in the work. And follow this by drilling all the way through with a twist drill that is 1 imperial size less than the finished size that I need. And please note, the hole in this crank web is 3/8 of an inch in diameter, and the crankshaft needs to be turned down at the end to fit into this from 1/2 inch to 3/8, because I've modified the size of the crankshaft, but the crank web is exactly as per drawing. The next part I need to make is nothing to do with the crank web. This is a mandrel on which to mount the crank web for the rest of the machining operations. This piece of metal I found in my scrap box started off life as being part of a crankshaft that actually snapped off. And in this clip I'm machining it to accept the crank web. When making a mandrel this way, it is very important never to remove it from the 3-jaw chuck until every operation is completed. If for any reason you remove this mandrel from the chuck and then refit it, it will not run true. Generally I use Loctite 603 for securing components onto mandrels. And here it goes on, a quick tap with the hammer. And usually while the Loctite 603 sets, I go into the house and make a cup of tea. After an initial facing cut, I use my ruler to measure how thick I need this to be, and I look on the drawing, and on the drawing it shows this part of the crank web as being 3/8 of an inch thick. So a couple of fine cuts later and it is 3/8 of an inch thick. And now I'm going to use the smallest centre drill that I have. But I'm not drilling a deep centre hole, I'm making a very tiny mark in the end of the mandrel, and you'll see why shortly. The outer part of the crank web, and that's the part that takes the crank pin, needs to be 1/4 of an inch thick. So I set the size first of all on the micrometer, and then I double check it using a twist drill. Measure twice and cut once. The end part of the crank web is quite a long way from the centre of the chuck, so I'm taking quite light cuts because I don't want to snap it off. And don't forget that the lathe is not running in real time. This is 400% faster. Generally in the home workshop you do need to machine cast iron at quite a slow speed, but the nearer to the centre the piece of cast iron is, the faster you can go. And here's the reason why I put a very small centre mark in the end of the mandrel. It's so that I can set the distance on the compass from the centre of the crankshaft to where the crank pin needs to be. And the next operation is to drill a hole perfectly parallel to the hole in the centre of the crank web. At the moment I'm showing my time-saving device for changing the jaws in a 4-jaw chuck. I turned the handle end of the chuck key to fit in my electric drill, and this simple modification saves a lot of time. Winding the jaws out of the 4-jaw chuck slowly by hand really used to take some time. Now it takes no time at all, and I'm quite pleased with this idea. I've put a piece of mahogany under the crank web just in case the drill was to catch the jaws, but in actual fact it doesn't, so it's not required, it's completely superfluous. This 4-jaw chuck is mounted on the rotary table, but I'm not using the rotary table aspect of it. It's just simply to hold the part securely at a perfect right angle, so when I drill this hole it's exactly in line with the hole that's currently down the middle of the crank web, which is fitted to the mandrel. And once again the drill is 1 imperial size less than 3/16, 3/16 being the finished diameter of the hole, and in this clip I'm using a 3/16 of an inch reamer in order to finally size the hole. I thought that I would take this opportunity to just remove some swarf which was all over the 4-jaw chuck, so it's ready for the next job. Over now into the outer part of the workshop, and with the blowtorch I'm heating up the mandrel to destroy the bond of the Loctite, and after loosening the part with an adjustable spanner, a Barco of course, I use a piece of mahogany to tap the part off the mandrel. And you will notice that I'm using a tapered piece of mahogany because I do not want to put any stress on the outer part of the crank web. That's it for machining the crank web. I'm just cleaning it up now on different grades of sandpaper. And that's it for this episode of Steam Engines and Boilers. Stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists you can actually watch the videos back to back.